Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the English with Gemma podcast, where we turn English practice into progress. Today is very exciting because for the first time ever, I've convinced someone to join me on my podcast. So I have a guest today. I have Javi with me. He's my friend that I've known since 2018. He's from Spain. He is a music producer and he's fluent in English and Spanish, of course. Thanks for joining me, Javi. So,
You're welcome.
can you tell us a little bit just about yourself? Like, what do you do right now? What do you do for work? And kind of how do you use English in your day to day?
Yeah, so as Gemma said, my name is Javi. I live in Madrid. I'm Spanish. I dedicate my life to music. I'm mainly a music producer, but I do a lot of things related in the music business in general, DJing, touring. I do some management stuff
For
too.
other artists and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he does. He's got his hands spinning many plates for sure. But mainly right now, you're kind of focusing less on like, your own music project and more with other artists, right?
Yeah, I work a lot with other people.
Cool. But in your day to day, you are mostly speaking Spanish with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My day-to-day job is Spanish. Yeah. But of course, everything related to music and music producing and all of that, I've learned it from the internet and it's been from English sources.
Yeah, and definitely I think like you've worked with like international artists and I think
Yeah, not a lot, but yeah.
yeah, but having English definitely
Yeah, of
helps.
course.
Cool. Okay, so let's start off. Let's go back to 2018. Do you remember the first time that we met? And what did you think about my English? Yeah, tell me your first impression of my English, and then I'll tell you my first impression of your English.
Well, I think your English was easy to like understand, but you spoke
Really?
too
I
fast.
spoke really fast, right?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
were like
I was
nervous.
probably
Yeah.
nervous to meet you for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first
you
time.
were like a bit spastic.
That's just my personality
Yeah,
normally.
honestly, you still are. So I'm just used to your,
My chaos.
yeah.
Yeah, I think probably I spoke really quickly, but in terms of like my accent,
No, it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your English was, I was surprised at how good it was, obviously, because like we were meeting for the first time. I knew that you were a Spanish guy. But I have to say, I've seen a huge improvement in your English since then until now. Probably because, after 6 years of us hanging out, like you kind of used English in your daily life
Yeah, of
way
course.
more. And I noticed that you're way more fluent and you used to think a lot when you spoke and have a lot of pauses, and now you're way more fluent.
Yeah, definitely. Now I
Yeah.
don't feel like I have to stop and like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna say this. This is the way to say it. Just words come out of my
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah. Did you feel like in the past that you really had to like think about like you would like think in Spanish first and then translate over to English?
I guess so. But it
Yeah.
would be mostly like finding the correct form to say things.
So more structure rather than like vocabulary
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. I don't
Mm.
think it's that much about, okay, I have to translate these words into this language.
Yeah.
It's more about, okay, I know I want to say this, and these
Yeah.
are kind of the words, but which is the best way to like structure it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the tense or what's the, yeah, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So obviously, like growing up in Spain, you had English in your school,
Yeah, since I was like 8 or something.
but like, do you think that that really helped you to become fluent, or it was
Oh,
when,
no,
because you
no.
went to the States for a year, right?
Yeah, well, not as much as of a year, but like,
Like
yeah.
9 months or something.
Yeah, half a year or so, something
So
like
tell
that.
me about that experience, and is that kind of when you first were like, okay, now I'm kind of learning English
Yeah,
seriously?
100%. That was the time I was, I think, 14 or 15,
Yeah,
and I had the chance to spend like 6 months or so in the States. And that's when I started like feeling that I had,
like fluency.
yeah,
Yeah,
fluency and that I started to understand stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, for me, like the point was listening to a song and I was like, okay, I can understand the lyrics
Oh, so
on my
you
own.
kind of like music was a big thing for you and learning English kind of.
Yeah, it was getting there kind of, but it was kind of mostly it was one day that I was listening to a song. I don't know if it was Eminem or some shit like
Probably
that.
Eminem. Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening and it was like, wait, why do I understand this?
Really? It just kind of felt like it happened naturally.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that was kind of your like aha moment where you were
Yeah, I
like,
was
oh
like,
wow,
oh, wait, I'm starting to get the hang of it.
interesting. That's cool. So yeah, obviously a lot of the music you listened to was rap, which is probably the hardest to understand. Like that's crazy that you learned like English from
Well, not
rap.
really from rap. It was just more of a more of a moment that I was surprised that
Oh,
I
okay.
could understand it.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I could kind of understand people, but it's different. But in like music, it's not made so foreign person
Can
gets it
understand. Yeah,
at first.
for sure. Interesting. Cool. So at what point did you feel like, okay, like I'm starting to take like English learning like seriously? Did you when you studied in school, did you feel like you kind of understood the grammar and all that kind of stuff? Or was it when definitely when you went to the States that you were like, okay, I
Well, the
actually
thing is, like for me, I never thought actively like I'm now learning English. I'm
you
taking it
never really
seriously.
cared like that.
It
Yeah.
was just something that I did.
That's
I
interesting.
didn't give it too much of a thought. I was a
Yeah, I
teenager.
know, but a lot of people spend their whole lives being like, oh my God, I need to like
Yeah,
learn
yeah, but
for
for
work
me
or
as a
whatever.
kid, it was just something that I took for granted. Like I had
Yeah.
to study math or
Yeah.
Spanish language or whatever other thing.
Mm,
It was not, this was like early 2000s.
yeah.
So we had this idea that English was important, but it was not as much of a thing. Like,
Like
hey,
it is
you have to do
now.
this. It's super, super, super
Yeah.
important. We just did it and that was it.
So did you ever take any exam or go to any academy to like study
Yeah, I went to the official language school.
in
So yeah,
Spain?
like
Yeah.
after school thing.
Which one? The
Of
Cervantes?
no, Escuela Oficial de
Oh
Idiomas.
wait, yeah, Cervantes
Yeah,
is for
yeah, it's
learning
just like
Spanish.
the
Oh, cool. Official school of language.
yeah,
So did you get like your B2 or did you get like a level?
yeah. I think I stopped when I got my B2.
Really? That's so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah.
So technically you only have your
I
certification
have
of
B2.
B2.
Yeah,
But you're definitely you're like a native
yeah.
now.
I don't care.
That's
Honestly, like no one's ever asked me for my B2.
Javi is the
So
most nonchalant person when it comes to everything. It's like, yeah,
who
I'm
cares?
just fluent. It doesn't matter. Well, because you never needed it. You never
Exactly.
needed like C1. You never went to university and studied a course in English or anything like that.
Well,
Like
I have, but like
you have.
my teacher spoke worse English than I did.
That's so
So
funny. So what uni degrees do you have? Obviously, you
I'd
started
rather
off
not
trying.
start.
Oh my gosh, just tell me.
I've studied too much.
Javi's like perpetually studying.
Yeah, yeah.
So you started off with a law degree, but then you decided this is not for
Yeah, I
me.
studied Spanish language and literature.
So you studied Spanish like philology or no? You studied
It's the name that it has now is language and literature, but
language
it
and
would be
literature.
like philology kind
So
of.
to did you
It
want to
they
be a
just changed
Spanish
it.
teacher or you just
I
didn't
didn't care.
you didn't know what you wanted to
Yeah,
be?
yeah.
And then what did you do?
I also studied sound, like to be
Sound
a yeah,
technician.
to be a sound engineer,
And now you're studying
uh, computer science.
computer science.
Yeah,
That's cool. I mean, that's the future. I think that's like technology
yeah.
is.
Still, I don't need it for work, but
Yeah, but like, I
I
mean,
just like
you
it.
like learning.
I like learning
I
a lot.
remember
It's
during the
cool.
pandemic, you bought like physics books and mathematics books, and you started teaching yourself all sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
nerd.
yeah, definitely. But that probably helps you in why you are where you are with your English because you enjoy learning and you actually, and for you, it comes naturally. You know, you say like, oh, I don't care, it's casual, but a lot of people they have to make like a huge effort, and for you, kind
No,
of
I
just
mean it was not easy. Like I had to be there in a foreign country, not understanding a single word.
did you
It's not
ever?
it was easy. It's just
Yeah,
that I didn't care about getting a paper because I didn't.
you kind of took away the pressure of feeling like you needed to
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
The thing is, like, I was too young when I actually learned English that I didn't have an adult brain
Mm,
realizing that I needed it.
mm, mm.
And also, when you're younger, it's way easier to learn stuff in general.
Yeah, because our brains are, you
Yeah, and
know,
if I had to learn English now, it would be way more complicated.
yeah, for
And
sure.
that's a thing, and every person has to know their limits and what point they are in life, what time availability they
Mm,
have, and energy and everything. Like
yeah,
it is a whole process. So of course,
for
being a
sure.
kid makes everything super easy.
Yeah. And you're already studying, so you kind of have that like
Yeah,
framework in your life already.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I realize that now it's more complicated for me to learn stuff that it was when I was a kid.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say was like your main method that really helped you? Because obviously, you love like the internet and memes and, music. And what was there anything that like you really watched a certain series or something like that when you were a kid where you were like, this is helping me
Well,
in
I don't
English?
know if it's the helpful answer, but being immersed in the
It's
language and
helpful.
the culture is the most helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, of course, like the most basic answer. It's not helpful in the sense that not everyone can do it. So
True.
it's like, hey, well, you
If you
have to
have the
immerse.
opportunity,
Yeah, if you
try
have
to
the
immerse
opportunity, that
yourself.
is the best way to do it because,
Yeah.
like, you're forced to understanding other people and communicating in that language. Because if not, you're doomed.
You get left behind. Yeah.
Yeah, chat were cooked.
Yeah. That's definitely the first time that I realized with my Spanish that like that's when I made progress was when I lived in Spain because I
Yeah,
had to communicate with your parents. I had to communicate with other people. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
If you don't have the need to, then
Yeah.
you can learn still, but it's not as easy because you don't have the physical need. Kind of, it's almost like your well-being depends on it
Yeah, for
in some
sure.
way.
Yeah, for sure. So what part of English took you the longest to feel confident in? Was it grammar, vocab, pronunciation, or listening?
Well, right now I'm not 100% sure. I would say just being fluent in general when communicating verbally, like
Yeah,
speaking to other
that's
people.
the
I
hardest.
think that has to be. Uh, and once I had that, I guess pronunciation,
Yeah.
I still sometimes second guess myself a little.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of the last thing you
Pronunciation, yeah.
get the hang of, like fully, like feel like, okay, I feel like I know a lot of people that know English well, that speak it well, but they have the feeling that they don't really fully get it.
Totally.
And it's just that they don't trust themselves
They
speaking
doubt
and like
themselves.
pronouncing well, and they feel like no one is gonna understand it.
Yeah. And I always tell my students there's a huge difference between like good pronunciation and accent because a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
think like you have an accent when you speak English. I
Yeah.
have an accent when I speak Spanish, and that's fine. And that's something that I like to remind people is that it doesn't matter if you have your native language's accent
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have good pronunciation. Like you guys are able to understand Javi perfectly when he speaks because
Let's hope.
he yes, of course. Don't shut up.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about comparing Spanish and English a little bit. Obviously, you're a native Spanish speaker. What is one thing that's way easier in Spanish than it is in English?
Easier in Spanish than in English?
Yeah. I think Spanish grammar is way more difficult than English grammar, for example. But for me, as a person that learned Spanish, I think the pronunciation of Spanish is easier to understand than
Well, it's
English.
difficult for me to answer because, of course, everything in Spanish is kind of easier. I could say the opposite though.
Like what?
Rap in English is way easier.
Really?
Yeah, because every word is shorter.
Shortened.
Yeah, the words are shorter in English, so you can
Like
make
contractions.
rhythmical things in.
Gonna, wanna, yeah.
Yeah, but most words have like one syllable or even
Hmm.
like maybe two at tops.
Mm.
Spanish, we have a lot of
Long
longer
words.
words. So making rhythmic stuff with that is more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But what's easier in Spanish? I don't know, dude. Like I was born with that.
That's true. It's hard to think about. Okay, let's do like maybe two more questions and then we'll wrap up because I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a busy man these days. Do you feel like there was a specific oh, I know the answer to this, but I want you to answer. Was there a specific word or phrase that you have been saying wrong for years, but now you've finally mastered it? I have it in my head.
Oh, which one?
So me and Javi, we dated for 5 years. We were together in a relationship for 5 years, and now we're best friends. And when we first started dating, I
Oh,
remember
I know
Javi
now.
he used to say instead of babe, like baby in English, it's babe
Babe.
for short. Say it.
Babe.
He used to get the B and the
Yeah, for
V
some reason.
because no, not for some reason.
No,
It's
but
Spanish
also,
language, the B and the V is the same, so it's confusing.
yeah,
Like
but
you say vale instead of vale. So he used to say babe instead of babe.
yeah, but there's no V there, so I don't know
Yeah, but you
for what
were
reason I use
I don't
it.
know, you
But
were
then in other words that had a V, I wasn't using the V, I was using
the
the
B.
normal B.
Yeah,
So in that
that's
case,
normal.
for the one time that I used it incorrectly. So
That's
that's
weird. That
weird.
is weird. Yeah, I mean, mistakes don't really have any like meaning sometimes or reason. They just happen. And then once a mistake gets in your head, it becomes fossilized. And unless somebody corrects you, then
I guess so.
yeah. But I definitely think that now I can't even pinpoint anything that you say like strangely or anything like that because
Thank you.
you hung out with me, the best English teacher in the world for 6 years. So obviously now you're fluent. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Right.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about your music career just quickly.
Oh,
I don't want this to become like a music interview because I know you've done a lot of those, but um, did you ever write any music? I know now most of your music is in Spanish, but did you ever write any lyrics or make music in English? And how does that feel compared to working in Spanish in terms of rhythm and stuff
yeah,
like
I feel like a lot of people in Spain started making music in English
that?
because, and that happened for me too. One, for what I mentioned, that rhythmically it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
And also we're used to listening to English music, so it kind of feels like in some way natural.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't know if that was the case for me, but I feel it's the case for a lot of people. They kind of feel some kind of like it's a mask that covers them and they don't feel as naked in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I started making music in English and my accent was a bit too much
Mm-hmm.
and my pronunciation too. So yeah, I don't know.
I think nowadays it would be interesting because I have listened to some of your early music where you were speaking English, and
it was rough.
I could definitely
It was
hear.
both bad in terms of music and also the English.
But
So
hey, it's part
whatever.
of your journey. It's part of your
Yeah.
journey.
I
It's
mean, I've seen way worse. So like,
totally. I would still listen to some of the songs I actually really like. So I don't
well,
think.
because you have a bad taste, but that's not my problem.
Shut up. You're so stupid. Okay, last question, Javier. Are you ready? Okay, if you had to choose one thing that helped you to become fluent, just one. Or, okay, you can choose. You can either talk about that, or if you had one thing to say to people learning English, what would it be? So, one thing that helped you be fluent, or one thing to say to people learning English. You can choose. Which question are you going to
Oh my
answer?
God, I don't even know.
You don't have to
Um,
act like you're an expert, but like just as a person, like what would you
just
say?
be exposed to as
Yeah,
many things as you can in that foreign
yeah.
language.
Yeah. And it did, you did mention moving abroad, obviously moving to the country of the target language, but that's not necessary, I don't think, because
No, I
like
mean, it's not
you can
necessary.
change
It's
your
just
phone into
helpful.
English, you can do a lot of things.
Well, what I think is helpful is like everyone has like some hobby or something that they care about.
Yeah.
If they can find a way to uh, mix those two things and merge like your personal interest with the language you're trying to learn, that's very helpful because of course you're going to be interested in learning more of the two things at the same time. So for me, for example, most of the music related stuff that I'm exposed to and I've been for a long time, they've been in English. Like I've read forums on the internet in English and
Mm-hmm.
so many things like that. And of course, there's Spanish forums, Spanish blogs, and so many resources in Spanish. There were not so many when I was younger, but still, there's probably way more in English than in any other language. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you try to go to those sources, you don't see it as okay, I'm learning English. You see it as I'm trying to get deeper into this thing that I care about.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
yeah.
without realizing you're gonna learn more English because of course you're gonna be immersed in
Yeah.
that. And also you're gonna learn a lot of the terminology for that field, whatever it is. That's important because that's something you care about. So you don't care about maybe the medical terms for whatever,
Mm.
but you care about your hobby. So
Yeah.
if you learn all the little words that they use and they're technical and you wouldn't learn otherwise, that's cool for you.
That's really solid advice, Javi.
Yeah,
Thank you. And
you're welcome.
also, I think that it's so much easier to stay motivated and be consistent in language learning if it interests you and you're
Exactly,
doing it.
because it's
Yeah.
not what I was saying. It's not that you're learning English or whatever language.
You're learning about a topic in
Yeah,
English.
you're reading about something you're naturally interested about.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't make it about language. You just make it about whatever you care about.
Totally.
So of course you're naturally gonna get more and more into it
Yeah.
without realizing, okay, I'm getting better at the language.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a side effect,
Mm-hmm.
which is why this works.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Javi, for
You're
joining me
welcome.
today. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload. And if you liked this type of content, kind of interview based, let me know. I always appreciate you guys' feedback, and I would love to do something like this again with a different guest. So thank you guys for listening or watching. Sorry, there's no video for this episode. It'll be audio only. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Thank you,
Bye,
Javi.
Chad.